Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I am talking bank fishing. I'm covering gear, I'm covering spots, I'm covering techniques, I'm talking lures, I'm talking everything you need to know to go out tomorrow and hit the bank and learn to bank fish. Because honestly, that's how most people start. Most people start fishing from the bank. It is the most affordable way to learn how to fish. So let's get into the ultimate guide to bank fishing. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. We are going to start with the gear. You need to know what to buy, right? So here's what you need to buy if you want to go out bank fishing. The first thing is a rod. You need a rod and reel, okay? If I can only get one, watch out. If I can only get one rod and reel combo, I'm going with a medium powered spinning rod. Okay, a medium powered spinning rod will do all your finesse techniques, and it may do some other small moving baits that you might enjoy that are easy to use for beginners, right? So I'm going with the medium powered spinning rod. I'm going with a 7 foot or less. The reason I say 7 foot or less is because when you're looking at bank fishing, a lot of times there's trees, there's overhangs, and if your rod is too long, you're gonna get stuck and caught up. So I usually go with a shorter rod and reel combo so that I can really access those obscure places when I'm bank fishing. If I were to get a second rod, so if I was gonna bring 2 rods bank fishing and start you off with 2 rods, the second one would be a medium heavy bait caster. The reason I say that is because bait casters are great for moving and power fishing, which is really good when you're searching for where the bass are. So I will say a medium powered spinning rod or a medium heavy powered bait caster. I want to go 7 foot or less, 7'1", right? Just so you can access all these different spots bank fishing. You're also going to need lures, but we'll talk about that later because there's a lot that you have to think about when picking the right lure bank fishing. Depending on what you're fishing for, you're going to need scissors, right? You're going to need pliers, right? So scissors because you're going to be caught up. You might want to change lures. So you really want to have some scissors so you can cut your line after you tie it, so you can cut your line if you get snagged, right, and retie. You're also going to need some pliers. Sometimes, depending on the technique you're using, the fish may really get down and grab that lure, and it may like choke it, right? So you're going to need some long fishing pliers in order to get in there and get those hooks out. You also need pliers if you're using certain treble hook baits that have like jerk baits or crane baits that have a lot of hooks in them. It's easy for you to get hooked as that fish is flailing. So you're going to want pliers to help you remove those hooks. Speaking of treble hooks, you might also want some fish grips. Not everyone is comfortable grabbing fish right away, so fish grips help you just grab the fish without actually grabbing the fish. They look like this right here. These are just grippers. You open it up like this. You put it in the fish's mouth. You grab it. You can hold it like this. This is especially really good for kids. As kids are fishing, you really want to have some fish grips for them. My kids don't like touching the fish, so we always use these bad boys. So you got your fish grips. You have some pliers. These I got on Amazon. They're like 10 bucks. They're really good fishing pliers because they're long. So you can get into when the fish choke those baits. You can really get in there. These scissors off of Amazon, I really love these scissors off of Amazon. They can clip to your belt hook. I put them on my bag sometimes, put them on my kayak seat, and it's a way to you just snip it, so you can kind of lock it up. So these are 3 essential things that I would bring with me when I'm fishing, along with a tackle box. You need that, right? So this is one that I love. Don't buy this one if you're just starting out. This is a really good one. I love it, but it costs a pretty penny. So you can also go to Walmart and get some regular tackle boxes from Walmart until you're ready to upgrade to these bad boys. So with all this stuff and with lures and rods, you're gonna need a bag. I have the perfect bag for any bank angler. I know the perfect bag for you. It is the Kastking. It's the Kastking Tactical. What? What's it called again? The perfect bag for you is the Kastking Tactical Sling Bag. I have a whole review video on this bag. It holds so much stuff. Go to Amazon, grab this bag. I'm not sponsored by Kastking, so this is nothing for them. But this is a really good bag, really comfortable bag. I use it for bank fishing, kayak fishing, the whole gamut. Hit up my review video if you want to look more about that bag. The next thing you need to know is, where can I fish, right? If you haven't been fishing before, you may not know where the local pond is. You may not know where there are bass ponds around you. I have 2 things that will help you know where to fish. Okay, the first thing is an app called Fish Brain. It looks like this. Fish Brain is an app that shows you all the local areas, and not just that, but what fish are in that pond and where people have been catching fish in that pond. Right, so it lets you know, all right, I can go here and people have been catching fish here. People have been catching fish recently here. So you don't waste time traveling and driving around trying to find somewhere to fish. I use that anytime I travel. I always pull that app up to know where I can go fishing, and I found some really cool spots to fish with that Fish Brain app. Along with that, you can use a simple internet search on Google Earth. Google Earth will tell you exactly where you are, and it shows you the terrain. So when you're on Google Earth, you can see exactly what kind of structure is there and where you can fish. That is going to be really important when we go to our next step of actually hitting the bank and fishing. So if we're going to talk about fishing, we should probably go to the bank. So let's get there. All right, so now that we're here at the bank, that was pretty cool. I like that I did that. All right, now that we're here at the bank, let's talk about where to cast. So based on the season that you're in, it's going to dictate where the bass may be. So in the winter time, they're as deep as they can possibly get. They're in the deepest, farthest parts of your body of water. As we get to the spring, you want to start aiming for transition points, aiming for the bank, or you want to start aiming for a little deeper out from the bank, right? Bass can be anywhere in that range because some bass are still in that winter pattern of being out deep, but some bass are getting ready to what we call spawn and are starting to move closer and closer to the bank. So now we move from spring. When we hit the summer, it is hot. So the hotter it gets, the deeper out they go. Bass kind of spread out, either head back out deep, or they start to look for certain spots that may provide cooler environments for them. So in this time of year, you want to look towards the shaded parts of your body of water. You also want to look to where there's structure or cover. That may look like a tree that's just down in the middle of the water. That may look like a dock. That may look like a small cove that's shaded. You want to look for those shallow parts that are shaded and some structure. Bass really like holding on to some kind of structure, so you want to look for those areas. Now between the summer and the spring, there's this place called the spawn where you want to look for sandy spots in your body of water. That's where the fish are coming up to spawn. So you want to look for those spots, those areas. You also want to look for what we call points. They're those areas of our body of water where the land kind of comes out and creates like a point in that water. You want to look for those points, those shade lines, those places of structure, and that's where your fish are going to be. Spring, we're looking at transition points. We're looking at maybe some deeper transition areas of water. So right now it's pretty windy outside. If I was fishing right now, I would have on a chatterbait or a spinnerbait because this wind in the water is making it a little cloudy in there, and that vibration from that spinnerbait or chatterbait will kill it right now. But I'm not fishing, I'm recording a video. Now, if we go from summer to fall, the fish are coming back up shallow. We have more fish coming up shallow now because they're getting ready for that winter. They're getting ready for that winter time where they're gonna be out deep again and not eating as much, lethargic. So from summer to fall, and then in that fall, they're coming back up shallow to feed up. So you wanna look for, bass in weeds, but you wanna look for bass once again around structure and in those nice shallow places. Let's talk about how to cast. This is my medium power spinning rod I got here. Right now, when I'm casting this bad boy, here's how you do it. You let your lure out, what we call, you wanna hold this line with your pointer finger, just like this. Then you're gonna flip this bail over. After you do that, you're not able to get out here and cast it as far as you want. I'll do it one time for the homies. I get out there, now I cast it. Before I reel it in, I wanna make sure I flip this bail back over to reel it back in. If I caught a fish right now, that'd be pretty cool. I don't think I will though. All right, so that's how you fish a spinning rod right there. Now, if I had a bait caster, I would do pretty much the same thing, but the mechanisms work a little bit differently. So for a bait caster, your bail is this line, this little click right here, okay? So you would take this, you would let your lure out, you would click the bail by pushing your thumb here, but then you would hold your thumb on that spool of line, okay? As you walk to the water, you're gonna cast it out, but you don't wanna let that spool reel let go by itself. You wanna have your thumb really close to that reel. So it'll look like this. Flip that bail, thumb on it, and then as soon as it hits the water, I push my finger back down on that spool. All right, so that's how you cast those two kinds of rods. Right, so now when we're out here, we're gonna do what we call fan casting. Right, we're gonna try and cast at different areas, almost like a fan, around this body of water, searching for where the bass might be. Like I said, they could be anywhere right now in this type of year. If you're now farther down south, it could be pushing up if it's in the spring. But that's how you use the rod and reels, and you want to kind of fan cast. So you might want to go from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock to 11 to 5 down to 12, right? So just keep kind of going that pattern, searching for those fish are if you're looking out deep, or along those lines down the transition bank. If you notice, I haven't said anything about lures yet, because lures are really dictated by the season, by the weather, and a whole host of other conditions and variables that I can't pinpoint. So I have 3 tools that will help you figure out what lures to use today. The first one is a tool called Bass Forecast, right? So the Bass Forecast app is an app that's on your phone. You can punch in your location and it tells you per day what lures might be most successful. It takes into consideration the weather. It also helps you kind of figure out based on your terrain, right? Rock or weeds or whatever it may be, what lures might be more useful to you that day. The second tool I'm gonna give you is this channel. So if you haven't hit it yet, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because every month I put out what lures might be most useful for beginners for that month. I just released one for this month, so check that out. But make sure you tune into this channel for every month a new video on what lures might be successful, especially for beginners. And the third tool I have for you today is a video I did on the 3 essential lures for beginners. It breaks down the 3 easiest lures for beginners, exactly how to rig them in all the different ways. It is a great tool for you to kind of just look and see what gear you might need, what tools might be successful for all beginners. So I'm gonna leave that card right here. Click on that card, hit that video, and learn some more about what tools and what lures are great for beginners. Okay, I hope this video was helpful to you. I'll see you in the next one.